And I would advise any aspiring football journalist, not people who are just looking after transfer scopes, but covering the key matters of football.
You know, come here.
If they have an opportunity to go and cover that case, they must go and listen to the administrative side of the game.
Yeah,
you understand? Because that's why, for me, as a football journalist, if you are not in tune with the NSL handbook, the SAFA statutes, the CAF statutes, and also the FIFA statutes, I don't know what you're doing if you're saying you're covering football.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that you must know, like,
at the back of your head.
You know? Yeah.
True. No, completely agree with you. But lastly, on this note, doesn't it take away that spirit of football, that excitement on the last day, knowing that if you draw, you automatically qualify without ambiguity? It's crystal clear. I draw, I qualify. I win, I qualify. Now, no one is sure. Doesn't that take away the essence of the game?
Look, you're talking about the essence of the game, but it brings to mind Glad Africa. They are silent on this matter.
The sponsor.
As the sponsors.
What?
They have not given us a statement yet of the things that unfolded. At this moment in time, we would think that a serious sponsor would be issuing a statement going forward.
Yeah.
As a player, you can imagine the players who are, at that moment planning and to celebrate the negotiations for contracts, what next for next season, because the period in between to secure your job, secure a new contract, is too sure that you don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So everything now is in limbo. Everybody is quiet. There's so much uncertainty at this moment in time. And we shall have to wait for the court processes. I guess it's presidential now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
No. It's interesting because I think in one of the points that Polokwane City is raising here, they are saying by awarding the points, which they feel is unmerited points, to Sekhukhune.
Yeah.
They are unfairly benefiting Sekhukhune and disadvantaging other teams.
Yeah.
And they are questioning why Sekhukhune is being awarded the full 3 points
with 3 goals
when they had failed, when they had lost the game. I mean,
it's a non-starter.
If you play a game under protest,
it's a non-starter. Come on,
the rules are the rules. They don't change on willy. So
okay, let's wrap this up. We have Raymond on the line. Let's wrap this up. Raymond, welcome.
Good day. Hi, Putveli. Hi, Timothy.
Hi,
thank
Raymond.
you.
Hi.
Wrap it up.
Hi, Kelvin. Yeah.
Yes,
but just a quick thing, but I'm just gonna summarize everything, including Pirates and Chiefs. I'll just include all the topics just in brief. So, but basically, with this NFD, I don't know why the PSL is holding up, because my point is rules are rules. So why are they running around things? Which could potentially show maybe potentially that there's a brown envelope involved somewhere, or maybe they're just trying to look for loopholes.
Yeah, it creates that impression
in the Polokwane game. Maybe they're looking for something small, maybe that they can use against Sekhukhune. You see, because rules are rules. You see, when you look at CAF, how they implement the rules. Remember how they suspended Chiefs from playing CAF. I don't know was it for 4 years or something, for failure to play a match. I think it was during Ted Dimitri's time. When Chiefs didn't go and play a Confed Cup match. Instead, they opted to play a league match. Remember, like it was the last day of the league. And they were challenging for the together with Pirates, and they went on the last day. So they decided to play the league on that day, and decided to snap CAF, and then CAF suspended them for a couple of years. And then now you look at the transfer ban that happened to Chiefs as well. Now it just shows you that CAF and FIFA, when they implement rules, they implement them.
Yeah.
Rules are rules. But now when it comes to the PSL, it's a runaround. Maybe they must just review whoever is in charge of the National First Division, and probably maybe review Ivan Khoza, because I think in this way, should something go wrong, it means Ivan Khoza will also be compromised, as the chairman of the league, which is wrong. And then secondly, I'm just going to move on quickly. With regards to Pirates, I don't know what's happening there, guys. With the players that Pirates have, and for them to lose like that, because yesterday I was telling people that Raja Casablanca, they didn't play fancy. They were not wow. They just applied simple basics. You could just look at how they passed and how they scored. It was just simple stuff.
Yeah.
They just capitalized on the mistakes of Orlando Pirates. You see, they made the Pirates defense look, I don't know, they made them look amateur, which is wrong, because I feel like something is wrong. Maybe there's interference, maybe with regards to how the coaches. I don't know. But you can see that something was wrong there, because you go back to how Pirates were like in CAF. Pirates used to have like a fighting spirit. When Pirates plays CAF games, that, whether they play Esperance, whether they play Zamalek away from home, Pirates is going to come out with a result.
Yeah, it's not the same.
They have a fighting spirit. But now I don't know what's happening. With the quality, with the kind of investment that Khoza has, I don't know what's happening. And then also going to Chiefs quickly, I'm just going to do it and then
quickly.
And then drop now. And then with Chiefs in December, this December was different from the one
you played at home.
FNB. And I feel like if it wasn't for the foreign quota, so sometimes I feel like the foreign quota in the PSL is what is actually holding us back, because I feel like, in the PSL, they have a tendency of taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
So they implement quotas, they implement under 23 rules because they're taking shortcuts. It's sort of having a proper reserve leagues like they have in the EPL, where you have your under 19 league, under 20 leagues, under 23 leagues. You even have first division leagues in there. In South Africa, they take shortcuts like, okay, let's implement the quota rule. But actually, it's holding us back, because now I feel like, at times, Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns mostly, they're competing for the same market, which is the South African market. So they can't really sign, the best players. But if there was no foreign quota, I feel like maybe 5 Simba players maybe would be playing for Chiefs or Pirates, or maybe, players from Esperance. Some of them would be playing for Big Three. But because they're competing for the same market now, it makes our football a bit boring and not really that competitive. But I feel like, Simba, the way they played, I respect them, and they remind me of how Chiefs used to play in the past.
Yeah. Okay, cool, Raymond. Let's leave it there. Let's talk about it, gentlemen. So coach, Chiefs.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think let's conclude this matter.
Oh, we haven't. Apologies.
In the conclusion.
Apologies.
Let's conclude this matter.
Accept my apologies.
Yes. No.
Accept.
I can tell Amakos is the only team that is left in the CAF competitions in the country.
They're itching.
They're itching to go.
Yeah. Talk about
the other team that got robbed for Papa.
Yeah.
But I think, and now all we have to do is to wait.
Yeah.
For Friday, and see where the court case
takes
will take
us
to. But I think in the meantime, the PSL must implement the arbitration ruling.
Yeah, as it stands, Sekhukhune have been promoted to the Premier League, and they need to acknowledge that.
They must be seen as adhering to the rule of law.
Yeah, their own rules.
Yeah. Which have pointed us to the arbitration, but also to the rule of law.
Yes, indeed. Completely agree with you.
Exactly.
Completely agree.
Because now we don't want to promote lawlessness.
Yeah.
Because we'll be setting a wrong precedent.
True. And then you have anarchy.
Exactly. No. Yeah. But I think it must also be said.
Yeah.
It must also be said. I'm saying they must implement it as it is. But I also don't recall previously where points were allocated to opposition when it comes to matters of under 23.
Yeah.
I remember, I think even it was last season, Mbombela, before the case of ineligibility of the player that they had played.
Yeah. Is it this
They had
the
a point
Sporting
Yeah, they had a
last
point,
season?
Yeah, they had a point docked
Yeah.
for under 23. You remember that case?
It will be very interesting to.
Yes.
It's an interesting scenario.
Yes. But also, I don't recall maybe as well opposition having played a game under protest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah.
Because, in the case of Sekhukhune, the coach was coming from Polokwane.
Yes.
So he knew.
So he knows very well what happened.
It will be interesting to know the reasons advanced by Polokwane City as to why those players could not be fielded.
Apparently they are claiming that it's got to do with COVID.
It's interesting because when you have got COVID, you have got 14 days.
Yes.
14 days in quarantine.
Yeah, but no. The issue is Cape Umoya couldn't honor a fixture.
Yeah.
And they cried COVID.
Yeah.
And the points were docked from them.
Yeah. What's different with Polokwane City?
No. The difference with Polokwane City, they honored the fixture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cape Umoya didn't honor the fixture.
Didn't honor the fixture.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's... But
there
it's very
are loopholes.
There
are loopholes in
I guess it's
every
open
scenario.
to interpretation.
It's very important not to be in violation of your own rules and
100%.
regulations.
So let it go
also,
to court.
why is it... when did this happen, Veli?
Second week... In fact, first weekend of the year.
Of year. So this thing could have been sorted out then.
Long time ago. That's why at the beginning when we were starting, we were saying, we've been complaining about the same thing at the PSL and how these cases are being handled and how they are allowed to drag. And now this is why now it's seen as a league that there's just lawlessness.
Yeah, it's like you're holding on this ace up your sleeve.
Yes.
You're waiting to use it at the end
Yes.
of the season.
And remember, Sekhukhune lodged the protest.
Yeah.
Understand?
Man.
And it is not up to them to
decide.
to make sure that the
matter is concluded.
expedited.
Yeah.
The people in charge of that process
Yeah.
should be doing it.
Hey, the PS. Hey, let's move on, guy. Otherwise,
Stay at home.
I must be.
asambi. Asqale ngesidliwe. Chiefs, idliwe, but they are through. So, what you got?
Yeah. A good match for Simba,
Yeah,
right?
they showed up.
Yeah, the application was good from their side compared to what they did when they were home.
Yeah,
I think when they came here, they were deceived by the position of Chiefs in the domestic league where they were
yeah,
compared to what was supposed to be done in the CAF.
yeah,
Simba showed up on this time. They made sure that they play their game,
Yeah.
even though they were sitting on the back foot.
yeah,
They were sitting on the back foot because Chiefs, what they were supposed to do is they had no business to try and attack Simba. Simba needed the goals. Chiefs needed to play the game. So with Chiefs playing the game, it was going to frustrate Simba to open up more gaps at the back and also giving them freedom to express themselves more. So they shouldn't have pressed the panic button for them to concede those 3 goals. But what led to them to conceding those 3 goals? You look at the first time when they were here, Simba played 4-3-2-1, right?
yeah,
When they played home, they changed the system to a 4-4-2.
yeah,
What does it mean? It means there was more firepower, which is the application was they had 2 strikers. They consolidated the middle, so that means they tried to hide Castro from being available. So a quick press in the middle didn't allow them to be more creative than they were in the first leg when they played at home.
yeah,
So when they blocked that, when they created those lines, they made sure that Chiefs don't penetrate them and then they don't find the same spaces that they have and allowing crosses.
yeah,
Because if you look at it, the amount of attempts that Chiefs had were far lesser than what Simba had. Because if you're looking at the goals, Goals were scored at 24 minutes. What does it say? They needed the goals. They needed to make sure that they get the first one to break the ice so that they put Chiefs under pressure. But Chiefs, again, they were not under pressure, as I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they had 4 goals as a cushion. But that becomes a problem now. It shows an indiscipline in a team. You structure the team well. In my case, you would have maybe started with more players that were going to be hungry and try to harass Simba. In their back 4.
Yeah.
Because already they've planned for your Nukovic, your Castro, how are they going to play. So put somebody else that's going to have a different dimension so that the full attention will be on Castro, but this one will pop up. Now, the goals as they came, 24 minutes, 56 minutes. Before halftime, critical phases again. Just after halftime, 10 minutes after halftime, 56 minutes, there was another goal.
Yeah.
And right almost at the end, 86 minutes, Chama scored another one. Again, lapse of concentration also there. Maybe the plan was just to not attack now, sit back. But now, was their defense strong enough? I doubt it was. They were just lucky that they escaped this one.
Were they lucky too?
Simba tried to climb Mountain Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
They were almost getting to the summit. And the weather conditions...
There were 2 big saves.
By Vuma.
The weather conditions didn't permit them. But again, it comes back to you must maximize your home advantage.
Yeah.
Make sure it works
Finish
for
the
you.
game at home.
Finish the game at home. But again, the applicability, I think this competition will go a long way in helping the likes of Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns already there, to grow and learn how to manage these games. You have got 4 goals in the bag. How do you structure the team? This is what demands that now you have players that should play for the team other than playing for the result. Because when a team players are playing for the team, their structure, their positional play, the structure, the shape of the team is compact. You don't need to rush to attack when you already have the advantage. If you happen to watch the game of Sundowns, Ahly, you would observe that in the middle when Ahly was having the ball, they will spread the ball across the middle of the pitch. In that moment, they are buying time. They are getting a breather. They are opening their lungs up, giving time to the wingers to get into those flanks. And when they are ready, they go on that counter. So it was not slow. They were not slowing down the game. They were just spreading out and getting all those. So that's what Chiefs you need to do. You need to frustrate Simba because they need the goal. They need the ball.
Yeah.
You cannot score the goal without the ball.
So the game plan was not kosher.
You know what Tim is saying? At some moment, fortunately, I was watching both games. The other one was on TV and the other one was on the screen. And one thing I noticed, Chiefs was sitting. But whilst they were still sitting, the passing lines were clear. Simba was moving the ball easily in between the lines. But this other side, when I look at Ahly, Sundowns is struggling to move the ball in between the lines.
Yeah.
There's a difference between defending and having numbers behind the ball.
Exactly.
Now, when you are defending, you make it difficult for that ball to get in behind the lines. But there's the instance that where coaches will tell players get behind the ball.
Yeah,
surely they will get behind the ball, but they will not know what to do.
But for me, it was a classical example of looking at quality. You understand? I could see the difference in quality between Chiefs and Ahly.
Yeah.
In how, because the intensity in which Sundowns and Simba were attacking, it was the same.
Yeah.
But the application,
execution,
totally different.
You see, there are so many, we can talk the whole night about football, how to move and everything like that. But it's interesting. If you watch Ahly when the likes of Ngenge have the ball in the middle of the pitch, is shielding that ball, giving chance for the right back to get over. That's an overlap.
Yes, and Alodieng.
Yes, and then he's gonna release that ball.
Yes.
Now,
beast.
In our country here, South Africa.
Yes.
Sometimes we run like headless chickens.
Play it on the space.
We even overtake the player with the ball. We go ahead of him, so he has no option.
Did you see?
He did.
Did you see Chiefs? And this is where I felt like you are saying now. Chiefs had no business starting the game with 2 strikers.
Yeah.
They had no business.
Yeah.
And for me, the best approach for Chiefs on the day, because one thing that I saw with how they started there, they had Bloom.
Yeah.
And in having Bloom alongside him, he was Parker
On the middle.
in the middle.
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah.
You know, and now in terms of the pressure, there's Parker. And I mean, when they were pressed, this is where they should have started maybe a Katande.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because the young men, we are saying in the Ahly game they had Dieng. In the position that Ahly had Dieng, Chiefs had Blom. And Blom, this is where Chiefs required to have a 6-6.
Yeah.
In a way,
Consolidate.
Exactly.
in a way, you could think that having won the game 4-0 in FNB,
Yeah.
I think Chiefs underestimated Simba. They thought they're a weak team,
Yeah.
and when they go to Tanzania, they're going to outplay them. You know,
Same game plan.
You know, there are certain things that happen in football. You know, you know, from my school of football,
Correct.
my mentor would tell us, you need to coach yourselves. And when you interact with players of Sundowns under the likes of Pitso money, he took more time encouraging these players to go and view games and come back and report about those games. So he's teaching these players to coach themselves in the field of play. Because when you're in the field of play, the stadium is packed. You're not going to hear, even when I'm calling your name, to tell you this and this or to remind you. So in that moment, there's that moment when as players, you come together to find a solution, not defying what the coach has said, but to provide a solution before you get the coach's instruction.
Correct.
That understanding has to be there between the coach and the players, so that the coach doesn't feel undermined or the players are not doing their own things.
Yeah.
Because they are two different things. For example, you are conceding a goal in the 24th minute. It means you are giving the home team the momentum
Yes.
to believe.
Correct.
They
Now,
can get more.
What do you do if you feel you are not containing them? You know, try to hold the attack. Don't completely sit back. That deep block is always dangerous because you're gonna have a midfielder pretending to defend, but it's actually just adding numbers but not defending.
Exactly. Because see here, and that is why one of the first subs was Zulu. You know, because they had Louis Mikuson on the other side, and the Triple C Chama was coming on the right channel, and the way they were targeting those fullbacks, also because there was no cover.
Yeah. Because they play 3 at the back.
Yes.
Why?
You know,
Away, you play 3 at the back.
you know, there was no cover.
So you change formation.
And this thing, I've never seen Riff Rosslab exposed like that.
You see, football is the easiest game, complicated by tacticians.
Call you back.
Yeah.
You know, the tactics of these tacticians confuse players. It is simple. You know, I can assure you that no player can defend a 1-2.
Yeah.
You can only delay it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only delay it by positional play. So 1-2 is basic. That any player, any team that's going to play 1-2, you cannot chase a 1-2. So you delay it. Those are basics. Now, there are certain basics that you know that as a central defender or defenders, you are playing away from home. Your immediate interest should not be to go across the center line.
Yeah.
Just be at the arc and observe.
Yes.
Conserve the energy.
Yeah.
Conserve the energy.
And now,
Tactica.
it also means that because if you have Frosler and you have Zulu occupied like that,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
are also not going to have the service to the two twin towers up front.
Crosses won't come in
You understand?
because they are busy defending.
And that's why Manyama was also one of the first players to be subbed, because they also dealt with him.
Yeah.
You know, So for me, look, I just think Chiefs were saved by the whistle.
Yeah.
Because all they needed there, in fact, these guys didn't need to even score 5. They needed just to score 4, take the game to penalties.
Yeah.
Then it's a lot.
And then, like, you'll
You know,
see.
because that's what Esperanza did on the other side against Real Belouizdad.
Yeah.
But but I think now it's history.
Yeah.
It's history now. Chiefs is in
We
the
should
semifinals.
say congratulations.
Yes, I see all the noise coming from Dar es Salaam. That they played well, but it's not about playing well. This is a cup
It's a
competition.
Results,
Yeah,
Baba. Results.
See you next season, Simba.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye.
Simba.
It brings in the question: is it best to top the group?
Good question. Peter talked about it.
I think that is a question.
Hold on, we're coming.
For another day.
It ties into.
We have callers. Caller on the line. Who's joining us?
Hi, good evening, guys. It's Pitso Kumar in Ramsey.
Hi, Pitso. Welcome.
Just want to say, interesting discussion there, and the guys are just Willie, Timothy, as well as Calvin. But as you know, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
We're talking about you. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, and first, let me say congratulations to the boys, as well as the coach.
Correct.
For at least being through the semi-finals. But
yes.
Yeah, there's still a lot of question marks, as you guys are talking about.
You never have.
you. I mean, we it's one of those things that you're happy that you are through, but I mean, the way we go through this and looking at what's coming up next in terms of Wydad, I'm not sure what we have in our arsenal in terms of even our technical team to really give us hope that we can actually go through to the final. Because I mean, if you look at that game on Saturday, for me, my thinking is, if the plan was to say we're going to defend, yes, you got so many players there at the back that you're defending with, at least do the best job of it and do good job of it. And because if what I saw on Saturday, honestly, I think it was one of the worst defensive setup that I've seen. It was almost like one of those teams that, because this is one other problem that we had with Chiefs. We have two teams, the one that plays in the DSTV Premiership and the one that plays in CAF.
True.
And we've always seen that the one that plays in CAF, they show more character, they try to fight.
Yeah.
They're more organized. The one that plays in the DSTV Premiership, it's almost like the shadow of the team that plays in CAF.
Do you think Chiefs was complacent? Do you think, knowing that they have a 4-goal lead, do you think they were complacent going into the second leg?
Definitely.
For me, to be complacent with Kaizer Chiefs against Simba, I think it would be, I don't know if it's not ignorance, I think it would be pure foolishness, honestly. I mean, yes, you won against
convincingly.
Simba 4-0 convincingly, right? But I mean, truth be told, that was one of the best performances we've seen in so many games that the Chiefs have played, and they haven't been able to replicate those performances game after game. So, I mean, I told you that last time that one swallow doesn't make a summer. You can't win one game convincingly and think you've turned the corner.
Yeah.
You have to be consistent. So for me, to be complacent against such a good, I mean, we still say Simba is such a good side. I mean, leading up to that game against Kaizer Chiefs at FNB, they had only lost one game in 18 matches, which was against Ahly. So, I mean, we deserve the win, but I mean, we couldn't afford now to be complacent and think, okay, now these guys are not the quality that we know them to be. So I think the game plan was just wrong on the day. But again, also you're looking at the coach. The coach, for me, he didn't have a plan. I mean, the plan, if the plan was there, it was such a poor plan because, I mean, you could see the coach is panicking as well. This is the person that's supposed to provide inspiration, sanity, and leadership so that the players can see, okay, we got this. But you can see the way he's shouting. He's also just panicking. So at the end, I saw a team that was just panicking throughout the pitch, and they didn't know what they were doing. They were almost on goals from Gazane Matoho. It was just madness. So
okay, let's wrap it up. So your journey ends with Wydad Casablanca.
You say?
No, I wouldn't say, because this is football. I mean, the fact that we are here, and I don't think anyone would have thought we were going to get here. I mean, anything is possible, but I think the way we are playing, honestly, I almost got a heart attack on Saturday, because now, I mean, you're looking at this team. They're coming at all angles, and it's like 86 minutes, 85 minutes scoring goals, and you're thinking, should they get a fourth goal, this thing now is going penalties. Which
Yes.
now it's like you lost the execution that you had. And you end up going on a 50-50 lottery penalty again. So it was tense. I mean, yes, you happy that the team is winning, but you know what? The way it's done for me, it doesn't instill any confidence and hope at all. But anyway, all the best, and let's hope they do well in the upcoming games. Like it's football, anything is possible.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'm glad you finished the game. 90 minutes watching.
Thank you.
You almost said the other thing.
No, let me tell you, when it comes to playing Wydad, you have to bring your A game.
Correct.
You either have to play smart.
Correct.
At that stage, you rather play, this unattractive, unappreciated football in South Africa and get the result.
Yes.
If you try to go and impress, they are smart enough.
Yes.
They're smart enough. They know how to play result.
Tim, I like what you're saying because there's something I've seen they talk about it, especially on social media these days, talk about mad football and football is about results.
Mm-hmm.
Football is about results.
We don't remember the second best.
Yeah. Exactly. And you cannot tell me, I remember how Pirates won the Champions Cup in 1995. In 30 to 40 years' time now, people will not be talking about how Sundowns won the 2016 Champions League.
Yeah.
They will say Sundowns were champions in 2016. They will say Pirates were finalists in 2013. No one will remember how they were playing. Yes, as much as we understand that, we all like good football. I like good football.
Yeah.
But sometimes we've got to be realistic.
Results.
Good push.
But I think in this case of Chiefs, I think they are working hard behind the scenes to make sure that Kama and Zuma are available. For the semi-finals. And between now and the semi-finals, it's almost a month to the semi-finals. So I think they'll be back by then. And I think we'll be returning back from the international week. And obviously our league would have closed on the first weekend of next month. So Chiefs, their attack will be boosted by the time they came back. But it's going to be very interesting because the last time they couldn't go to Casablanca. But now, as you saw, Orlando Pirates was in Casablanca. So they'll go to Casablanca this time around. But the second leg is here. So it means that tactically, they've got to be sure.
To be astute.
They need
to
play for the result. You need to play for the result. There's an assumption that you need to score an away goal. It's not a must. Play for a result. Even if you get 1-0,
something.
1-1, you try to moderate your game. And for me, the best way to win games is to understand the caliber of players you have got and understand what they can give you over and above. And then you structure your team, you prepare a team according to the strength of your team. And that is very key because you're going to respect the opponent, analyze them, how good they are, and try to plan how to utilize them. Good players don't to be marked, to be harassed and kicked around. You understand? You do that. No good player can mark. Those are few. Those are few players. There are few complete players where you get a complete player in the likes of Suarez, where he's gonna kick you and then score goals. Those are few. So you understand those areas. Once you get that, and then when I was playing, you'd hear a striker saying, give me the ball. Sometimes you smile because when you're out of position, you are reminded by the striker that come back in the position. So, because it's alerting me. So, the talking should be less.
Correct.
Social media is a problem. Concentrate on what you can give and make sure you do well. And the results will come.
People on social media, they will not be celebrating good football or mad football.
They want results.
But I think there's only one good thing that Chiefs, now that they are through Simba, that they don't really now, at least in Casablanca, they don't have to worry about the 4-4-2. If you know what I mean.
All right. Sorry, guys.
You know the 4-4-2.
We promise, guys, we take their calls.
4-4-2.
Tim, you know the 4-4-2.
Oh, 4-4-2. It will never change.
Caller on the line. You have a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, you have a
My name
minute.
is
Let's go.
Moemedi. I'm calling from Midrand.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
to us, my
Hi
friend.
to your panelists, Velile, Timothy, and Soso.
Yes, sir.
Game against Ahly. But quickly before then, I'd like to congratulate Kaizer Chiefs for
Yeah.
going through. They must use this as a learning curve experience, and they must make sure next year, because next year they're not going to play CAF.
Yeah.
The year after next, the season after next, they must qualify so that it will be useless to learn and you don't go back the following year. As for winning it, I'm not sure if they will win it, but I wish them all the best.
Yeah.
So coming to Sundowns. Sundowns, I think we lost the game in Egypt, that 2-0. It was very heavy. The mistake that we made in the last 10 minutes by Dennis Onyango, I think it was a blow. That was a killer for us. If the score was 1-0, I believe we could have came back in Argentina. Nevertheless, we lost, and we'll try again next year. I know Sundowns fans.
Yeah.
They say they hate that way that we will try next year. We've been saying that for past 4 years, but we don't have choice. We have to try next year. However, we must do it differently this time. We must do a serious introspection to ourselves and say, look, we always in quarterfinals. I think past 6 years we played semifinals twice, if I'm not mistaken, and quarterfinals about 4 times. So I think Mangabamiti put it very, very well in post-match interview when he said we top 8 of Africa, which I believe we top 8 of Africa. But we finding difficulties into breaking into top 4. Top 4, the regular guys like your Ahly, your Esperance, your Wydad. I'll also include your Mazembe. I know they had a bad season this year, and also your Raja Casablanca is going to come very strong next year. Raja Casablanca and Zamalek. So we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves why we always scratching on the top 4, but we're not getting through. Because with the resources that we have as Sundowns, I believe in past 7 years we should have won CAF Champions League twice
by now,
at least. By now, and we should play at least in cup finals, whether winning it or not winning it, every 2 years, if not every 3 years. Sundowns. So we need to look at it. If it's an issue of experienced coaches, which I suspect might be, we need to look outside. We need to look at the experienced people like your Rene Werner, your Igabe, your Patrice Carton. We need to look that far because the league, it's a given. I mean, Sundowns have to be either number 1 or number 2 every year, in year out, with the resources that we have, and we're very comfortable with the league because we win it all the time anyway. So for me, I think we need to sit down and do a serious introspection. However, we'll give our coaches another year, another season to try again next year, because they've been with Pitso for past 6 years, 7 years, Mangoba and Rulani. He went to Paris, but he came back. So they have experience, to play in Africa. I know Pitso said he did that alone. I don't believe it. No one can do things alone. CEOs don't run companies alone. They run with executives and the staff of the company. So Mangoba made a contribution, and Rulani, and they have experience. So they must show it. I think next year, let's give them a chance and see if they will deliver. I'm not saying they must win CAF next year, but if they can play in the finals, for me, we'll be happy.
Achievement.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't take all calls.
We're in Swane now.
Yes, we're in
Very
Pretoria
interesting.
now. We are in
I
Pretoria
think what happened at the Sundowns game, before the game, to me, it appeared to be something well orchestrated.
True.
And I think the aim was not really targeting Ahly. The aim was to embarrass the coach, embarrass the coach also in front of his bosses and his teammates, in fact, and his technical team and his players. And when you listen to the coach talking about it, it tells you, if I can take you back to his comments, Fidel, if you remember what he said, on the night he won the league title, his last league title with Sundowns, and on how difficult that bio-bubble has been for him, what he had been subjected to. And I think very few people also know that just few days before Ahly came with the offer, the coach was prepared to leave behind a 4-year contract on which the ink was not even dry. He had just been 2-3 weeks, he had signed that new contract. And he was prepared to walk away from that contract, even without a job. You know? So, and then when you check the statement that was released today by his management team, you can see that the problems here are deep-rooted. There are some deep scars.
True.
And when he says in his post-match, this is not just about the supporters. It's people there at the office.
Head office, he said.
And then you read the Sundowns statement. There's not a single mention of the man who was insulted by the supporters of Sundowns, whose mother was also insulted, you know, and embarrassed.
True. That was the aim.
You know? So here, I think the club still needs, the club still owes the coach a proper apology, not what they wrote there. And I think maybe for me the fitting statement was the one that was released by SAFA.
Yeah.
And people must understand this within the context that SAFA has released that statement. SAFA is the host FA in this case, in terms of hosting the game.
True.
And SAFA, this is a coach who is their product, who is also an ambassador
of the country.
Yeah. This is the only coach who's coaching at the very highest level outside the country. Okay, take nothing away from Coach Thabo Snow.
Even Calvin.
At Lesotho.
And yes, exactly.
What?
So I think for me, these allegations, especially a club which, no matter how we look at it, this is a club that is linked to the current CAF president.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge link.
You know,
big link.
So for
them to
for this
like
to be done
to
a coach who is currently an African champion. You understand what I mean?
It was a personal attack.
When all these happenings were taking shape, and one, it showed that we are very intolerant. We are less appreciative of any other person's work. If you look at the achievement of Coach Pitso Mtsimani at Sundowns, even if what he's saying is true, the same people benefited from the results that were achieved, whether it's in a corrective or him as being the leader. They became to be known as good administrators because of the results. I would have expected the least is just to welcome him and show that respect, the contribution he has made to the brand of Sundowns. Now, we have traveled across the African continent. We know the hostility that is given to the opponent teams. But this is in the period of the bubble. So that reasoning goes out of the way. And it gives credence now to what Coach Pitso is saying. They don't let me go. They should let me go. Now, when you look at Coach Pitso Mtsimani, one, he has opened the door for so many South African coaches who dream to further their coaching careers in the tentacles of the African continent. Be it Egypt, be it Uganda, be it Lesotho, anywhere. Because there is one success story in Pitso. So you need to brand and look after that. There is need to have that token of appreciation. When he was asked his comment about Gavin Hunt, he made a very interesting comment. We have been there. We know how to win games. What is he trying to say? Talk after the game. Don't talk before the game. Games are won on the field of play. Talking is for the fans, for the technical team and the players. We do our talking on the field of play.
It's interesting. It's interesting because you are talking about Gavin Hunt and Coach Pitso, and these are the most successful coaches in the country. And now they'll be meeting, even though they'll not be
bigger stage.
But it's ironic that Gavin has been struggling here at home, but he has steered this ship to where it is now.
Yes.
And they are in the and I think for me, I hope that South African football is not looking at this lightly. That two of its products are in the CAF Champions League semi-finals.
The highest position.
You understand what I mean?
You see, on the rest of Africa, on the African continent, we have experienced a scenario where when you get national team players, funds support club players instead of the national team.
Yes.
And this is where it's cropping in now. You are seeing Pitso at Ahly, and people believe that he's Egyptian now.
Yes.
Yet he's one of our own here in South Africa.
Yes.
There has to be that credence. Whether he's the greatest ambassador the country can have. Every time they mention his name, there is the mention of South Africa as a country.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the country, the leadership of the country has to take pride in that.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow the brand. And then you manufacture so many of the kind. He took the responsibility to say, can I have Coach Makoba Mete as my assistant? Rulanda as my assistant. In Egypt, he didn't do anything different. He took Gavin with him. So that's the kind of personality, the person of Pitso is. So we need to appreciate that kindness and not look at what we want to advance. I think South African football is greater in the name of Pitso Mosimane than any other person.
Yeah.
Coach Soso?
I think it's for Sundowns fans, they should be ashamed for what they did, for what the man has done for them. And I think they should have behaved in a more welcoming manner, considering the fact that where Pitso took the team and what he has brought into the table. So now, even being given blessings by the president to further his career by going to Egypt, now to get such a welcome from your own, it was very painful to see. I can imagine as a coach, let's talk about a player. If it happens to a player without resources, how would we cope with this? Because this means it can end a player's career, because not many players could stomach what Pitso can. And it shows the man's mentality and how strong he is, because even you could hear on the video that was playing, no, it's okay, just go on, just drive, it's fine. Because he understands. Sometimes as fans, we shouldn't be small-minded. We should have a bigger picture in mind and understand that it's a game of emotions, but you need to understand it's a competition at the end of the day.
Yeah, but Soso, here, Sos, we need to also defend the fans. There are pawns in a game here.
Yeah.
Not all the fans, actually. We need to correct that.
Yes, and some of the fans, but even the fans involved. You know, when there's a saying, they say you must hit the dog until the owner comes out. And when the coach himself says that people at the office, and then you have to ask yourself, who sent those fans to do that?
But it's so unlikely that fans welcome the idea to be used as a pawn. And
listen, we're not talking to you about this in the dark.
No,
we are not trying to search for the truth in the dark.
If you have been in football long enough, when you have been in football long enough, I can say for a fact that most club owners or management don't normally want to fire the coach. They always find a reason to fire the coach. Normally they will choose a few players to say the tactics are not this and this. The players don't like the coach and everything like that. But when it's coming from a certain section, that's a fact. They won't come out and say, no, we are firing you because we are not happy with the results. No, they will say, no, the players, they create that scenario. So it's not any different now. Pitso has been long in the game to understand that, yes, it's happening. Because it's not a difficult case to analyze, to adjourn, because what is happening is he says he has received messages, emails, and he has said he said it's coming from the office.
From the office.
So for me, that's not a problem. But what is important now is, you alluded to something that is very interesting. Coach Pitso is experiencing this, but I'm telling you, players have been experiencing this, and some have not been able to come back out of it, because it's going to affect them. I think it's very important that when we have the mouthpiece to try and educate the fans, that listen, football is a business. A player is your player when he's with your club. If he makes a decision to go, sometimes actually clubs sell the players, but they don't say that they have sold the player. So they claim the player wanted to go. But in actual sense, it's the club making the financial decision to let that player join the other club to benefit and run the business. But it's not communicated. So the player pays the price for that. So I think there is need to try and educate the fans to understand that even when we are competing, it is still business. They are business decisions. The reason why I've had fans complaining about Kaizer Chiefs buying players out of contract, that is smart business, because you're not paying anything to buy transfer costs, but you're still getting a quality player who's going to deliver. So there's no need to go and pay 20 million when you can get a player of 2 million and still get the result that a 20 million player is playing. So that's smart. So that education has to continue until we all come to an understanding that that's a business decision.
Okay, caller on the line. Who's joining us? You have a minute, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Pro calling from Devon.
Hi, Pro.
Sure, Pro.
I don't want to talk about Sundowns politics.
Why not?
Why not?
Pro, why not?
You have an interesting story, Pro. I know you. I trust you, Pro.
Davi always preach about managing information. So I'm trying to.
No. I'm with you there.
All right. Let's hear you, sir.
Right. I just want to ask a quick question to the gentleman. I think this is the second or third season in a row where Sundowns fail in the quarterfinal stage of the competition. Is it a coaching issue? Is it a preparation issue? Or is it a quality issue when it comes to players? Because you cannot fail at the same stage for 2 or 3 seasons in a row. It means something is wrong somewhere. I know that the coaches, they look a little bit, I don't want to use the word confused, but in the absence of a better word, I'll use the word confused, because I heard Coach Mangoba saying that maybe next season they should consider finishing second in the mini group so that they can start at home. I think it was a little bit of an unfortunate comment, but just want to find out from you guys, do you think it is a quality issue? Coaching issue, or what's the issue? What's the problem with Sundowns failing to progress?
Before the gentlemen come in, I'll ask you. The coach that was there in the past 3 years has gone through to the semi-finals with a different team. Does that change anything from your question?
I do have my perspective, but I wanted to ask the experts. But my perspective, here's my perspective.
Okay.
He's coaching, he's spending less time coaching the technique. He's spending less time emphasizing on the tactics. The players know what to do. They are well developed. He's not worried about a player failing to play a cross. He knows that if a right back goes forward, the cross will land in the box, not behind the poles. He knows that when a player crosses the ball, there's a 80% chance of finding a target. He knows that when the balls are played in the air inside his box, he knows that his defenders can clear. So those are the differences that I've seen there with his Ahly team. Hence he was happy that Sundowns played Afonso, and he knew that his players were going to deal with all those aerial balls. He was happy with Peter Shalulile in the box because his big boys were dealing with him. So in terms in my perspective, the quality of the players has a role to play. But I just want to hear what our expert has to say on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Pro is saying it's quality.
Quality.
And I think this is something that we've said for a very long time. And I think for me, if we are to look and point at Bafana's failure to qualify for the AFCON, even though I still feel that in our group we should have came out. If you look at the performances, especially the two teams that were away, And you must look at, and then you look at Sundowns, and you say the majority of these players are players who make up Bafana Bafana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
You know, but I think this one, and what Pro is talking about, I take it to the Pirates game yesterday.
Mm.
You know, and I look at their approach on the road. You know, and you look at the chances that they had that they couldn't take, and you look at the chances that Raja scored. Raja had half chances, converted them. You know. But I think in the case of Sundowns, because Sundowns has been playing around the space of the last 8, I think since 2016, they've only been to, after 2016, they've only been to the semifinals once.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they've been in the quarterfinals. And I think it's just a simple matter of quality. I think
pound for pound.
I beg to differ.
Pound for pound, I feel that you must look. You know, I've been watching, especially since Coach Pitso moved that side. I've been watching not just Al Ahly or Zamalek matches. I've been watching a lot of Egyptian football Premier League matches,
North African teams,
and also I've been watching the Botola Pro League as well. There are times where I'm counting. I know Coach Zippo, he taught me this. Coach Zippo, he counts how many times the ball comes outside. You understand?
Very important.
You know, and how many
With
times
game management is very important.
How many times the ball is on the pitch, and this is one thing that I've noticed. The ball is on the pitch in with the North African teams most of the time, more than it is here.
Okay,
you understand? So I mean, if I look on what is talking about, and Coach Pitso spoke about this in the post match. In fact, in the match day -1, you know, he said they are prepared. They are prepared for any eventualities, and he also said they've prepared. Also,
don't worry, Tim, your turn is coming.
for set plays. You understand? Because he was counting. He said he knows that Sundowns has got Morena, has got Jali, has got Mkulise, has got Serino, has got Modiba, and all those players are
height-wise.
Disadvantage.
And did you see that goal?
And you know,
I mean,
you have answered me.
Ibrahim was just flying alone. You know,
it is
your turn, Tim. Let's hear you.
When they say you called it what?
Mad football.
No, the skill. I beg to differ. I think when it comes to pound for pound,
quality,
the quality.
Yeah.
I think the quality is there.
Yeah.
It is the purpose and the urgency to reach to the promised land.
But Tim, you can have the quality.
No, because you see,
but there is this.
Okay,
We can both have qualities.
I think
but your quality could be different.
Let me first explain to you. Let me explain to you something. When you get an Al Ahly player, in a moment to release the ball, he's going to release it. He won't turn around with the ball.
Yes.
The skill is there.
Yes.
It is the urgency and the purpose. The small
Tim,
attention to detail on the field of play.
This is the quality Pro is talking about.
You see, when Pitso...
It's not the quality that you're born with.
Yeah.
Yes, but what...
Teachable one.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When it comes to the flair and passing, everything like that, they were doing well.
Yes.
There's one element...
That's Sundowns.
Yes. There's one element...
South African football in general.
There's one element that no one spotted that was so good with Al Ahly, and this culminated in punishing Sundowns.
Yeah.
It was the simplest, highest level of anticipation where Sundowns players are going to pass that ball. It was the interception of that ball. And Sundowns players failing to react on that interception that were always being punished. So the next pass was a 10-meter pass. Keep it in the midfield. Let's see if they can run back to defend it. Then Al Ahly bought time. they managed to play the weather conditions.
Yeah.
Now, what am I saying? I'm saying South Africa. Sundowns right now is on the top of the league. Why? Because of their continuous participation in African Champions League.
Correct.
If more teams participate, this league is going to change. Because
100%.
their execution, when Sundowns is playing around the ball, passing around the ball, opponents are dropping off.
Yes.
They don't go. South African players, especially defenders, they don't like to be dribbled. Because all the fans are going to say Chibobo and everything, they're going to laugh. Even a defender is going to backpedal.
Yeah.
A defender, you can be dribbled 10 times, provided I win the ball on the 11th time. I'm happy. You can turn me, it's fine. As long as I eventually win the ball.
Yeah.
In this country, players back off. They turn off. Because even their teammates are going to laugh at them that they dribbled them. So those are small things that need to be changed. When Coach Pitso says, you took out Morena, I was happy. You took out Serena, I was happy. The reason why you lost in Egypt,
and the creativity. Yeah.
you took Sirino.